Macro Moment Trading Podcast. Glad you're here, 10 a.m. Central Time. And we have myself here, Joe Hooper, in the black hat because it's cold, and Deshaun over there, and Tim down in the one of the corners. And Marcus is running the show today. And Randy should be showing up. He usually shows up a little bit late because he's just coming off a seminar of his own. And we'll get him. We got a special thing today. We're going to have Deshaun. We had lots and lots of requests. A lot of times Deshaun stays over after our first sessions in the morning on the Macro Moment Trading 5 days a week. And usually they're from 8:30 Central to 9:30. And lots of times people ask lots of questions, and lots of times we don't have necessarily the time to answer them because these guys are doing trades. And so he'll hang around after the sessions sometimes, not all the time, and answer lots of questions. So he gets lots of questions on how he structures trades. He does real well, as does Tim. And we're up, 104% in those macro moment trades last week, 144% the week before. And so far, right now, I think they're up 40 something percent. If you want to, you can type in questions and we'll see them. They'll pop up. Everybody will see them. We'll be able to take care of any of your questions today. You might want to go to our website, www.micromomenttrading.com, and we have all the information about all our techniques that we teach, Randy's techniques and the micro moment techniques, and we've been doing that for 20 odd years or so. And you can find out everything about them, the costs and such. Now we have a special that goes out today, our Christmas special. It went out a couple hours ago, and if you do not have a copy of that Christmas special, you can email support micromomenttrading.com and ask for the Christmas special. It's got some fantastic prices that end on December 31st, and it's got some just prices that carry over depending on what the program is. So just go to www.micromomenttrading.com or no, support micromomenttrading.com. Yeah, and you'll be in there to ask for the Christmas special. If you don't have it already, you should have it. If you're on our list, you should have it. If you're not on the list, you don't have it, but you sure get it because it has gone out. We had a good day today. We were up. Let me find a little sheet here. We were up 7.442%. Our trades over 6 trades, and so it was a good day. Yesterday we were up 21.969. Good day, and so we're going to pull up when Deshaun makes these trades. We don't speculate. We don't do any speculation whatsoever, and we have rules. And we have just on the micro moment trading, one real simple rule: get into a deal quick and get out quick. And both of these guys are experts at that. And if you look at the look on Tim's face, you know he's always trying to do a deal, even while we're doing this podcast. He always looks suspicious. Yeah. So what Deshaun's going to do is take that chart, and we're going to throw it up on the screen here. And then he's going to go through his process. He only trades SIP and SPY. I'm sorry, SPY, and Tim only trades Apple. Now, they can trade anything. You can use any stock for our technique, but we recommend you take a stock, and one that's good is going to stay in business. But that one's an index, and the other's a stock. Apple's a stock, the other's an index. And but you get to know them just like you would a kid, and you can sense movements and stuff, and know really what's going on. And there's no reason to have more than one stock because we're just trading. We're not looking at the stock to go up in value. We're looking at just to have trades. So we don't speculate. We never care if the market's up or down when the market opens in the morning. We're never in a trade, typically on average somewhere between 15 and 30 seconds. It's a long trade if it goes to a minute, and we're out and we're through with it. We have all our money back in the account, and we're through for the day. We never try to do more than an hour a day. And sometimes these guys will come back later on, like Tim, and you get a notice on your cell phone, a text message that he's coming back. Usually it would be between 2 noon and 3 o'clock when the market closes Central Time. but not every day. But sometimes he can sense maybe this afternoon is going to be time, and after he terminates his participation in the first session, which ends at 9:30 Central, then he might come back later on. He always says if I do, but if he does, you'll get a text message to the fact that he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so that's basically what we do, what they do. Like I say, they don't, not when the market opens, they don't worry about if it's up or down. They don't read news about what's going on with Apple, what's going on, other than just casual reading. They're certainly not doing it to base trades on. We just do not speculate whatsoever. And so, given that kind of background with Deshaun here, Deshaun, why don't you go in and just kind of explain, what's going to motivate you to do a trade on SPY? What has to be going on? What are you looking for on the chart? Because the chart's telling when you get in, the chart's telling you when to get out. That's how simple this technique is versus Randy's more covered callish techniques, which he's incorporated much of the micro moment into. And maybe he'll get on here and explain that a little bit later on. So there's the chart. Now this is a proprietary chart, costs us lots of money, and it's got all kinds of. It's not your normal chart. It's got stuff coming in there, factoring in there, that facilitates you getting in and out of transactions. So can you enlarge that a little bit, Marcus? I think Marcus can do that, or whoever has control of that chart right now.
It's as big.
Oh, because a while ago somebody, I thought it must be Marcus, said he could enlarge it. He may have stepped away, but anyhow, why don't you take that chart?
That's as big as we can get right there. You just have to. It's full screen. You just have to make it full screen on your computer.
Okay. Then make that full screen on your computer, and because it's just going to be Deshaun's going to be talking all about that, and we know what he's going to trade. So he's not going to waste time saying I'm going to trade SPY because of this, because of that. It's an index, and it's the biggest one out there, and it's good. It's not going anywhere. So he's going to see something on that chart that's going to motivate him to do a trade. And he may do 5 or 6 or 10 trades a day. He may do one. Go ahead, Deshaun.
Yeah, so like Joe, thank you very much, first of all. So kind of like Joe said, I trade SPY predominantly. I think I just told the clients and everything today, I'm always tempted. I've been tempted these last 3 months to kind of switch over to Apple, since that seems to be the big mover. But I think we might be rewarded for our patience since Tesla's joining us, because the SPY has been a little slower these last couple months. So in the process of on these charts right here, there's only one difference really on what my charts look like than versus Tim's. Tim, will you just hide the tick? SPY?
Yeah. Just how do I hide the tick? I'm sorry.
See where you type in SPY, the symbol, just two buttons to the right of that at the top left.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me get over to the actual chart itself.
Yeah, one more button over to the right. Yeah, that button. And then just hide.
There you go.
So so this is the charts I'm looking at, and I can go back and tell you. Well, I can just tell you why I kind of hide the tick. The tick kind of, you can tell on the other two, the stock Apple. You can see.
Excuse me just a second. Would that be better if you just had SPY up there instead of the other?
No. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so I mean, starting off process. The first thing I'm looking at right now is the Bollinger Bands, which is our red lines on the top chart. So the upper Bollinger Band and lower Bollinger Band is what they call UBB, LBB. So I'm looking at the spread between those two bands. Now, my ideal situation to be trading is a 40-cent spread between those two. And right now you can see we're sitting about a 17-cent spread. So right then off the bat, the chart's already told me to wait. So that's why I would pretty much stop my process there in this current situation. Now let's pretend that we got a 40-cent gap in between these bands. Now I could trade but as low as a 30-cent gap, but I know my risk is higher. So let's assume we got a 30-cent gap, which we're getting closer to it right now. getting closer and closer at a 20 cent now. So this would be riskier trades for me to get into. And the spread between the bands kind of tell me that the volatility is the chances of the volatility going are higher with that 30-cent spread. So let's assume we got the 30-cent spread. Okay, cool. Now what I'm looking for, I'm looking at the angle of the Bollinger Bands. Like right now we got a slight flare upwards, but the bottom band is following upwards too. Now if you can, I think on your charts, Tim, at 1020, about 1026-ish, I believe. About the 1026-ish mark. See how this is the ideal situation I'd be looking for as far as the Bollinger Bands are concerned. That top Bollinger Band flaring upwards and that bottom Bollinger Band flaring downward. These are like when the Bollinger Bands are making that form, those are the opportunities for us to have the highest probability chances of the momentum continuing in our direction. And so, that's what I'm looking for as far as the Bollinger Bands. And then I'm also looking for that M1, which is the white line there, to flare in the same direction as as the trade is going. So at the 25-minute mark upwards, and have a strong angle upwards like it does right there in that situation. And the thing is, the M1 is pretty much tracking the tick. So the white line is tracking the tick, and I can always, although I hit the tick line, I can always tell what the price is at the far right column right there. And the yellow box is the tick. So it's still there. It's just the line is not tricking me into possible trades and everything. I just noticed, for me in general, just for me specifically, when I turn the tick on, I do well, but then I slowly start falling off and like getting tricked into some trades and things like that. So just for me, it's better for me to hide my tick. Now so checkpoint 1 for me is the gap between the bands. Let's say we got a 30-cent gap. Okay, we can move forward. And then we're looking at the angle of the Bollinger Band. And then really I go down and look at the lowers, either we got E1, 2, and 3. So I'm looking at E2 and E3 to see where they are as far as their cases are concerned. So right now, E2 and E3 are lower in the case, which means our bias is towards the upside. And E1 is higher in the case, headed down, so the bias is towards the bottom side. So ideally, we want all three of those to be matching. So right now, what they're saying is red is crossing down blue, red is crossing down blue on all three. So they're basically confirming all kind of downward momentum, and these keep changing over time. So it's like every 3 to 5 seconds, I'm reevaluating the information. So ideally, what I'd be waiting for is a call in this situation. Since E2 and E3 are so low in their cases, now those cases can move up or down, but we got more room to the upside. So ideally, that's what I'd be waiting for. So right now, literally right now on SPY, what I want is this E1 red line to cross upward above this blue. I got my Bollinger Bands flaring like we like it. This will be like we'd be kind of on the edge of our seats waiting for this trade. We're nowhere near the high of the day, so I'll let this one go just based on the spread between my Bollinger Bands. But we'd be on the edge of our seat. If say this was a 40-cent spread already, we'd be in this trade right now when this red line is crossing up, touching blue on E1. See right there. So kind of right now, like I said, the first step is the spread between the Bollinger Bands. Since the spread is so tight, it's not giving us as much volatility as we'd like. So that would have kept us out of the trade, and we would let it go by, and just we would be playing the waiting game right here. And I guess the last thing I'm really looking for is on the E1, say at the Tim right there at the 10-12 mark. Or I'm sorry, 11-12 for you.
Okay.
11-12, the cross. I guess your perforated line doesn't come up, but as red is crossing down blue, red crosses down over blue. Those are generally the perfect. The ideal, as far as E1's concerned, the ideal entry points for trades. So right there at the 12, and then at the 11 o'clock mark for Tim, and then at the 10:51 mark, the E1, like what I consider it like making the center point of an infinity symbol. And those are generally the ideal entry points. You might sometimes I enter just a little bit before and sometimes a little bit after, but ideally that's what I'm looking for based on the charts and based on the charts. Yeah, I think that's it.
Was that it?
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah.
And then it's just that same process over and over again. So how Joe's saying we're not doing any speculating. I'm literally just looking at these charts to show me the same patterns over and over again. For instance, like kind of right now, the red line is crossing up, touching that band, it crossing, and then my Bollinger Bands flared apart perfectly. So that's at that point, that would be my entry point for that call.
And what they do during these sessions start, like I say, when the market opens Central Time 8:30 and lasts till 9:30. And it's over with. You quit. You don't continue on. And notice Randy. Good morning, Randy. Just got on. And they just go one trade after another. Tim's doing his Apple, and Sean's doing this, and they just go on and they make lots of trades. And you hear them, you see them. And those are real money trades. Our money and their money. And it's really, really exciting. So, and when you see this once, the very first time you see it, it's going to be confusing. But then the next time you see it, and pretty soon it just becomes natural. And you're not having to do all the speculation. But you're not a day trader. You're not trying to figure out based on what somebody's talking about, some talking head on the market, something's going to happen, something's going to happen. You don't care about that. And you're just trading the same one all the time, and then you're through. And if you make just 6% per week, put $2,000 into an account and use a virtual account initially. If you make 6% a week, that 2,000 in 24 months, 2 years, is going to grow to over $800,000. 6% of 800,000 is about 48,000. Then you got 48,000 allowance a month, you might say. You got three more months at 6%. They're just accumulating and compounding, and you can do it with never putting anything in there, never putting another dollar in that $2,000 account, and just trade that virtual account until you are doing real good, and then start over there and trade the real money. And that's what happens. And it just doesn't take any time at all. You don't spend hours and hours and hours of speculating and doing stuff. Now, Randy and Tim, I'll get back to you here in a minute, Tim, but Randy, you actually have a following.
I have a following.
Based on our early morning micro moment trade session, we had a lady come on in Germany yesterday or day before, and so we asked her, where are you in Germany? She told us. And she was talking about how the trading time 3:30, the market opens over there, and I told her what a great trading time that is in Europe, because you don't have to get up early. You can go do stuff all over wherever you are, and come to an hour's worth of trading and then stop, and you still got time to go out to dinner and shows or whatever you want to go to. And so she told us her name. It was Julie, wasn't it?
It's Julie, yeah.
Julie. And so we said, how did you get hold of us? He said, well, actually, my husband, she gave her husband's name, traded with Randy on your techniques about 15 years ago. And it does extremely well and still doing it. And I thought, well, now, boy, that's a big boost for Randy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. That's pretty neat. So how's your day go? Why don't you tell people what you do? They've seen how to shine. You got probably heard part of how he trades.
Yeah,
and
so John did a great job explaining that.
Yeah. And I told later on, Tim and I told her this morning, told Julie that you'd be on here today. And I said, he's not going to look like anything you would expect because he's so much older, but he's still playing baseball. And so I think that was Tim that says you're so much older.
I don't believe that.
So why don't you tell everybody what you do, Randy, and how your day went today so far, and so on.
Well, a couple of things. I I teach a little bit slower process than Dejan just went through, but using similar types of charts. The advanced charting, the daily advanced charting proprietary chart that you developed, Joe. And I teach momentum trading, where we're looking at the chart, which has 21 technical indicators all kind of rolled into one chart that is easy to learn and use. And it lets us find the beginning of the rising cycle. And when we find the beginning of the rising cycle, we just buy a call. And this week, during the live coaching session every Monday morning, about an hour and a half long, go through the charts and look for positions, and usually find one to enter, and entered eBay this on Monday morning, and it closed out the following day for 5% return, all capital return plus 5% income for 1 day of investment. And that typically it's a day or two of investment for that rising cycle. And that can just be done over and over and over again. Going through the charts, you can go through them every day, find positions that are beginning to be in the rising cycle, and jump in. In addition to that, I also teach the covered call process. And the traditional covered call process here at Micro Moment Trading is simply buying a stock and selling an in-the-money call against that stock with the sole intention of being called out, selling that stock to somebody else, but they're paying you rent for the week on that stock. So you get your money back, plus you keep the rent that they paid as your income. And I give a 2-hour plus, sometimes a little bit longer than 2-hour coaching session every Wednesday morning. Now, these coaching sessions are live in the market, but they're also recorded at the same time. And so you can watch the recording over and over and over again, or you can take advantage if you're not there during the live session, you can watch that recording. So I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions were entered and closed out last week with the covered call, the weekly covered call process. Average of the low was 2.3% return, and the high was 14.9% return with all of the capital return. So like to be out of the positions by Friday expiration, and then wait till the next week to see what's happening with the market to enter new ones. And so far this week, I think I've entered six positions for this week, and all of those will expire tomorrow. And so far, they're in the money and should get called out. So that's a process. We teach you how to do the process, and then you get to see how I do it week after week as well.
What do you estimate your average returns are into that, like the ones you've done this week, just off the top of your head?
The average return is probably 7 or 8% a week.
There you go. Fantastic. And Randy's been with us a long time doing this, and this our Christmas special that went out today. That if you're on our client or you're on our mailing list, you would have received already. And it's got all his techniques in there. That there's some excellent pricing on that you have to take advantage of before the end of December, and just a bunch of pricing stuff that is really valuable, can really get you tied in with Randy's stuff at a pretty good price. Fair price. I will be putting that special in the Cow Report that comes out tomorrow afternoon also. So if you don't have it, then it'll be in the Cow Report, and has everything that we do is in there. Plus the ability to get the whole thing in any language in the world. Now we just added that. So we'll have all that in there. Tim, why don't you tell people how you're doing with Apple these days?
Apple has been very, very good to us lately. What we have seen is off the gap fill in the morning, we tend to have continuations in the direction of the gap fill, and we've been able to capitalize on those continuations, almost every day for the last couple of weeks. Apple tends to have a huge influx of volume and price volatility right off the open, and we're able to ride that for one or two trades right off the top. So oftentimes our work is done in the first 2 minutes of the market. But Apple has seen just tremendous volume lately, making it really more tradable, because with more volume comes more price volatility. And we've been able to, capitalize on those long legs. So it's been good. It's been good. We've been pulling some good trades. Our subscribers have been pulling a lot of great trades on Apple. And what's cool is they've been finding trades, capitalizing on trades that I'm not even seeing. So that's really the whole point of our teaching service, is for you to make your own decisions on entries and exits on these trades and capitalize on them. Because really, that's where the fun is.
And when you attend those seminars in the morning, and on Friday, also Friday, we have what we call Friendly Phone Friday or something, and you can call in. We click your little hand, and you can talk to these guys or anybody else you want to talk to on there. And that's a good feature. We do that every Friday. But on the daily sessions, morning sessions, it's fully. We have a question box, comment box, and people are constantly asking questions and making comments as to how they're doing that day, that moment in time. And it's just amazing the returns our clients are getting. It's just incredible. A lot of times they do a lot better than we do,
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, tell them about the leverage with this technique, Tim, because this is the best leverage. This does not take a lot of money. Go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe second to covered calls, you have the best leverage in options. 100 to 1 leverage. We're able to control more equity or ETF than almost any other method. And here's the great thing is, we're in cash 95% of the time. If you actually counted up the time we actually spend in a trade, which is 10, 20 seconds at a time, and the time of the session, we're probably north of 95% in cash. We never hold overnight. So we're highly leveraged, and we're in for short, quick, excuse the expression, bite of the apple, as it were. And if you're a new trader, if you're new to options, you're new to trading altogether, we've really covered both sides of trading with Randy's covered call technique, which, as close to error proof as you can be, unless a company goes out of business, to kind of our side of the house, which is faster, smaller bites. You're really covered on both sides here. And a lot of our clients do both. But we really take advantage of the highly leveraged environment that we're in with options.
Yeah, a lot of times it's funny because Randy's giving his seminar at the same time we're doing the micro moment sessions in the morning. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, hey, I just made certain percent on certain stock over on Randy's program."
Mm-hmm.
So it goes on all the time. I think on this leverage issue, you trade what's called contracts when you're doing our micro moment, and same thing in Randy's. A contract's 100 shares or something, not 101, not 99, 100 shares. And 100 shares of Apple costs what, Tim? The real stock?
$2.
No. The stock.
Apple 127.
Oh,
The stock. Yeah.
What's it trading at? It's at
Almost $13,000 for 100.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's over $1,000, right?
Well,
So
it's trading at 128. 128.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but you never put that money up. What you do, you buy the option, and the option. Tim had a couple of trades this morning. The option, what he paid for Apple was like $1.09. Okay, and here's what $1.49 was his very first trade this morning. Now, so that's only times 100. It's only $100 something. You now have a doable trade. That's all you. And he turned around and sold it a few seconds later for $1.60. 11 cents or so profit, 7.3825% return in a few seconds. It's absolutely incredible. And so, that's why it doesn't take much money. When I say like do $2,000 into an account and just do this for 2 years, you got 800,000. It's just so cheap to do. And you've got, fantastic control of everything. But I think that's the key thing.
Joe, while you were talking, I just did a trade the micro moment trading on my SPX, got 2% return. And it was, I think it was 40 seconds. 40
seconds, yeah. Well, it's slower for you because you're older. And that's 15 or 16 seconds.
No, I miscalculated. It was only 39 seconds.
Oh, my goodness.
Good Lordy. Okay, we're getting some nice comments. I'm going to go through some of these. And hey, if you have anything to say, like you see, this one popped up from Marion, and we'll read them, but you can also read them there, So, and then James asked one while ago, can you go through the trade process again, Deshaun, and we'll get to that in a moment, James. So let me just kind of start up. Marion had the very first one. It says, those of you watching, well, and you can read this also. You can read these if you don't understand. I talk Southern, so you may not understand me. For those of you watching below, that Deshaun takes great care in teaching, and this thing keeps moving around. There you go. In teaching, great care in teaching, the movements and such. He gives us blow by blow commentary on his thoughts and what he's seeing and when and where he is. Exciting trades, and Marion just keeps going here. All of the instructors with micro moment trading are amazing and genuine. There you go. And Randy, why don't you read that one?
Okay, Steve says, what's the difference between the covered call coaching on Wednesday versus the momentum trade coaching on Monday? Two different trading processes. So one of them, the momentum trading on Monday, is simply using the advanced charts, which is a proprietary charting system, to be able to identify the beginning of a rising cycle, buy a call, just simply buy a call, and sell it once it goes up. So that's similar to what Deshaun just went through, but Deshaun gets in and out in 30, 40 seconds or a minute, where the daily chart, it's looking for a longer term trend, and it usually is in a trade for a day or two, sometimes 3. The covered call coaching on Wednesday, a covered call is buying a stock and selling a call against it. And the call gives the right to somebody else to buy your stock from you at a set price. And they pay you a rent ahead of time. So it's income that is generated by them paying you to rent your stock out. And then the intent is to be called out. So we sell deep in the money calls to increase the probability that we're going to be called out. Now, we still use a chart to try to identify a low point in the rising cycle, but those positions will last up to a week, maybe 2 weeks. So it's two totally different trading styles, trading processes, time lengths, and you can learn one or both or all of them and pick and choose what you do. I myself, I use all of the different techniques that we've taught over the years. I use those every single week. The micro moment trading, which I just did one, I've done 3 already today, one while Joe was talking. I do the momentum trading. I, of course, do the cover calls and teach that. And I also do credit spreads. So all the different techniques are available to be able to use at any time. It just depends on what fits you the best, what you like to do.
Okay. Deshaun, why don't you, James, he question came a while ago, we said we'd get around to him. Can you go through the trade process?
Let me make sure. So James asked the trading process. Let me make sure, James, are you talking about mechanically wise, right? You're saying as in with the brokerage I'm using, entering and exiting the trade that way, or are you saying like what I did earlier? I just want to make sure I answer the right question. In the meantime, we can go to Ricky Hill's question right there. What platform are you using? Broker platform. Me personally, I trade 3 different types of platforms. I trade Thinkorswim. I trade E-Trade Pro, and I trade Power E-Trade. So I use those three different ones.
And I use E-Trade. I've had E-Trade for a gajillion years. So.
Yep. And I'm Thinkorswim exclusively.
Yep, I use E-Trade and Swap.
So we really represent the variety out there.
So yeah,
and
I think the major idea is that the technique can be done with whatever brokerage you want to use. Though I guess the only thing I would say is not Robinhood. I think that's the brokerage I started with. I would just sway away from Robinhood. Everything else is probably
Yeah, and Robinhood has, as of today, the SEC's brought charges against them for the word defrauding, right, for misleading their accounts people, their people that have accounts there, on how they actually make their money. And then this is not the first time they've gotten into trouble. They get into trouble all the time about directing brand new, inexperienced traders the wrong way just to make commissions. And so they have lots of problems. And it's interesting. So
they're known for pushing people into margin and giving a lot of margin to brand new traders, which is very dangerous. It's something that we generally stay away from and recommend staying away from. But I think Robinhood has gotten into trouble with that before.
There's Sean. There's Jane's answer. The mechanics of the trade.
Yeah,
what you buy.
mechanics of the trade, what you buy / sell, how many. So James, so we're buying options. So we're buying puts and calls. So for instance, right now, looking at SPY, it looks like we're going to the call side. Right now, I'd be looking. So how I select which strike I trade at is based on a delta. So we trade generally between a 0.4 delta and 0.6 delta. That's a general idea, and I try to get in between that range of delta. I try to go as high as I can strike prices with just a 1 cent gap between the bid and the ask. So right now it'd be at the 372 strike call. And then for a put, it'd be at the 369 strike put. And then so that's what I use to determine what strike I'm doing. And regardless if it's a call or a put, we always just buy to open and we just sell to close. And that's it. Buy to open, sell to close.
Mm-hmm.
Calls and puts. Y'all add anything if I missed anything, but yeah, I think that's the idea.
No, you got it, buddy.
Ricky says, been using and learning your system since 7/1/20. It works. Now need to learn more. Thanks again, guys. So there you go. And there, Bill. Why don't you take that, Tim? That one
So Bill says one put of Apple ties up only 1,280 given the current share price of the stock and 120 to share. Yep. So we're controlling 100 to 1.
Yeah, no, don't misunderstand what he just said. That's what it's going to cost 100 shares. That's if you're buying the stock. We're not buying the stock. He's going to spend, well, like he did this morning. He bought 100 shares for what, $149.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Bill, for doing the calculation for us.
Yep. Anybody have any other?
Okay.
Yes.
That bill, that was confusing for me. I don't know that one put is now 68 cents times 100, 680. But it kind of depends on the strike price you're trading at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. If it's 68 cents, 100 shares are only going to be $68, not 600.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Good job.
This is just the most fantastic. Technique, particularly for young people, because they're number one, they're computer literate, and it's just so easy. And when the kid graduates high school, put a couple $1,000 instead of paying for some ridiculous college fee, and let him try this virtually.
Mm-hmm.
And he may find out, in 6 months he's taking over. You're moving in with him, and he's moving in with you, and he's set for life, and going to run circles around you. So just so easy to do. Wayne says small group coaching pertains to Randy's Wednesday class? Question mark.
Well, actually, that's another coaching webinar that I provide on Thursday evenings. It's called the small group coaching, and that really is to accelerate your learning of the covered call process. So the 2-day covered call seminar teaches you all of the basics up to management of finding, implementing, and managing a covered call. And that is, I taught a couple of times, 2-3 times a year. And in the interim, if you want to accelerate the learning of how you actually do a covered call and how you generate weekly and monthly income with the covered call, then you can come to the coaching sessions on Thursday evenings and ask questions and talk about what's the next step. What do I do now? I just did this. What's the next step? And how to read the charts and how to interpret the information, so that you can learn on a weekly basis and have live interaction during the live webinar. So that's just another way. There's all kinds of processes and coaching available for anyone that's interested.
And if y'all noticed, Deshaun prays a lot. Have y'all noticed that? He prays a lot. His head's always looking up praying.
Oh,
You must have some screens up there.
Praying to the
yeah,
office.
my screen's kind of here. My camera's here.
Yeah, we're always our heads are always looking, because we're always looking at all of our screens with all of our charts on them to be still monitoring. Like, is there something that we could get ready to do here?
Yeah.
Tim, have you done any deals, Tim?
Yeah, I've done 2 trades, 2 puts on Apple for 6 cents.
Fantastic. Would you send those, get a chance to just text them to me, and I'll put them in for tomorrow. They'll be in for tomorrow's trades. Yeah. Well, we're shortly running out of time here. We've got about a minute left, and really appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate these guys taking their time out today and attending like they do every Thursday in most cases. And Deshaun's presentation, we appreciate that. And we'll get some thoughts on, we will not be here next Thursday because it's Christmas Eve. The market closes at around 1 o'clock Eastern time on Christmas Eve, which means there's not going to be anything happen on Christmas Eve because none of the brokers are going to be there. And it'd be a very, very light, no nothing day. So we're not going to be open doing our sessions on Christmas Eve. And we will not have this on Christmas Eve because it's going to interrupt with your traveling or whatever you might be doing. Mm-hmm. And so you guys have a great Christmas. And I'll be obviously talking to you between now and then. And we'll see you on the sessions in the morning. And if we have some great specials on not only Randy's projects, but on Tim and Deshaun's micro moments morning sessions. We have one where I think you get it for a month for no cost or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some freebie. I'm talking about micro moment, which I'm more familiar with than all of Randy. Randy has so many different techniques and so many different sessions. I'm just talking about micro moment, and there's just some super deals, some super really, really pricing. If you want to get into micro moment, now's the time. And because we've had, even before the Christmas special, we've had a deal where you got 2 weeks, I think, for free, and then a real discounted price if you signed up for it. So there's all kinds of deals out there. So if you don't have the Christmas special already, you're not going to get it unless you call Sue Ann or send her an email, support@micromomenttrading.com, and say you want on that list to get that Christmas special, and she'll send it to you. So, and I hope our friend in Germany was listening. What was her name? Not Susie, but Julie. And now that they're probably filming Randy over there, and famous person. And Randy, when's your next baseball game?
The first week of February. Actually, we're just starting to get back into training shape again after Christmas. Here, we'll start practicing.
Yeah. And when he's in season, he always shows up in his uniform. And
that's a short off season.
Yeah. This is a neat little tournament down in Fort Myers again. So we'll be able to get down in the warmth there for a week.
Good deal.
There you go. Okay, well, thank y'all again, and thanks everybody. Thanks for your participation and your questions and stuff. And you just did another deal. I heard that damn bell go off on your computer. Did you?
That was me.
Did you close another deal?
I did.
See, he's you never know what you can always tell what he's doing. Not only is he got a guilty look on his face, but you can hear his cotton picking computer, closing deals. Okay, well, thanks everybody. We're going to cut it off. We're over our time actually, and
Merry Christmas.
everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody. See y'all later. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.